Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am your host, John Rothman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going, and as I like to remind you each and every day, it expands our base. Kamala Harris will be the Democratic nominee for president. Many of you suggested that there would be an open convention, that there would be a battle royal for the mantle to succeed Joe Biden as the Democratic nominee. I suggested to you that I didn't think so. I thought very quickly Kamala Harris would establish herself as the Democratic nominee for president. Now, I'm going to pat myself on the back and say I was right, in part because I understand the rules. And so we now know that Kamala Harris is gearing up to run for president. She spoke yesterday at the campaign headquarters of the Biden-Harris campaign and said, I'm keeping you on staff and we're going to move forward and we're going to win. The interesting thing is the amount of money that the Harris for President campaign has raised. It's astounding. And it's small donations. It's not large donations, although I heard this morning that Clooney is now back on board. So there'll be big contributions as well. The important thing to note is that this campaign has been shaken up from top to bottom in terms of our perception of what's going to happen. You can hear it on Fox, and you can hear it from the Trump campaign, and that is the attacks that have already begun against Kamala Harris. Indeed, the accusation that the only reason she was chosen for the vice presidency was that she is a black woman. Indeed, the idea that she's soft on crime. I mean, you can get down the list of arguments that are being made against Kamala Harris, and they're going to intensify. The important thing to note is that no matter how she is defined by the Republicans, what will matter really and truly is whether the Democratic base embraces her and what undecided voters will do in the election. I want to suggest to you in the strongest possible way that this is just the beginning of a vigorous presidential campaign. It will, I believe, be among the dirtiest presidential campaigns in American political history because a lot is at stake. For those who are Trump supporters, their vision of America. For those who are Harris supporters, their vision of America. And who will decide the election? Well, the undecided? Not really, but people who are on the fence. It doesn't mean they're undecided. It doesn't mean that they don't have opinions. They have to be sold. And who will Harris take as her running mate? Let me tell you, if history serves as any barometer, it will either be Shapiro of Pennsylvania or Kelly of Arizona. Why? They are both swing states. Their electoral votes are critical. To select a vice presidential running mate who has no swing state potential makes no sense. And what about Governor Whitmer, who took herself out of the running? Michigan is a swing state. But I think the consensus was that 2 women on a slate would be too much. And so we now have a situation where it will be a white male. All of a sudden, white males are very popular. But what Kamala Harris does in terms of choosing a running mate will depend very much on who she is comfortable with. Remember, vice presidents are not really selected by conventions. They are nominated by the person who is at the head of the ticket. And as Hubert Humphrey once reflected, a vice president has only one constituent that matters, and that is the President of the United States. So it is going to be an interesting few weeks of speculation. But I wanted to offer you another thought, because I think we face a fascinating situation. In the book, Homes of the President, the author of this splendid volume suggests what it is to give up the presidency. After he retired from the presidency and became Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, William Howard Taft said, "In my present life, I don't remember that I was ever president." Benjamin Harrison said, "There has never been an hour since I left the White House that I have felt a wish to return to it." Harry Truman said, "Being president is like riding a tiger. A man has to keep riding or be swallowed." Thomas Jefferson who wrote the inscription for his own tombstone, purposely neglected to mention that he had ever been president, and once said, "Never did a prisoner released from his chains ever feel so much relief as I shall on shaking off the shackles of power." William McKinley said, "I have had all the honor that there is in this place, and I have responsibilities enough to kill any man." And on the subject of honor, Abraham Lincoln had this to say: "I'm like the man who was tarred and feathered and ridden out of town on a rail. When they asked him how he felt about it, he said that it wasn't for the honor of the thing, he would rather have walked." I only point this out to you because presidents of the United States sometimes are relieved to leave the presidency. I don't think that's the case with Joe Biden. I think Joe Biden has loved every minute of his presidency. And more than that, he made clear yesterday that he intends to be active. He intends to campaign for Kamala Harris. He will go, he said, from one end of the nation to the other in order to ensure that his vice president becomes president. And so we enter an exciting political season. And we know now who the Democratic nominee for president will be. We know who the Republican nominee for president will be. And boy, oh boy, the action is just beginning. I, for one, as a political junkie, can't wait for this campaign to evolve. And I will be listening carefully. Left, right, center, polls, everything. And the good thing is that you and I on Around the Political World with John Rothman will be able to talk about it. And I can't wait. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. Make sure to follow along and let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing an episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow. That is, of course, our goal. And my special appreciation to all of you who have commented on either Facebook or LinkedIn about what we talk about. And of course, to Go-Go Zoger, the wonderful producer of this podcast, thanks again for all your efforts. And to all of you, I'll see you tomorrow right here on Around the Political World with John Rothman.